Thursday, April 18th, Friday, April 19th. If you're on the East Coast, across the pond, or down under, and this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had an amazing day and night. I am your host, Dave Scott, broadcasting to you live from the Great White North, on top of the mountains of central British Columbia, right here at SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Deep Talk Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store. It's a great way to support what we do. And, of course, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by the YouTube channel in Suho. Sebastian Martin brings high-quality messages to the masses. Head to our website, click on the In Suho banner, and subscribe to the channel today. Tonight, we step into the paranormal with a slightly different look. Do paranormal experiences have a different outcome between male and female investigators? Women are known to be more compassionate and spiritually in tune than most men. But is there a difference in results? Tonight, from Girls vs. Ghosts, Charla Hardin joins us to take a look at the paranormal investigation from the woman's point of view. You can check out Charla on our website, girlsversusghosts.com. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will join you for the SOR Newswire, put together by Captain Shirk, our gracious and glorious news director, who apparently just warned me today that her birthday is 3 weeks away from yesterday. And it's also brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Charla Hardin, welcome to Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
Thanks, Dave. I'm great. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Very glad to have you here as well, because, you know, for the last couple of years, I know we've followed each other on Twitter.
That's right.
And I have secretly been spying on you, secretly, because one of our fellow Twitterites, Lucky Kimba, she always adds you ladies and my show together on all of her group tweets. So that's right. How I first took notice of you. And so I'm blaming her for tonight's interview. And I know she's probably laughing over this, but I want to say a big thank you for coming on the show, and it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Charlotte, tell us a little bit about you, because, you know, everybody has a different audience, and maybe a lot of my listeners have not heard of you. How did you get into the paranormal?
That is such a loaded question. You know, it's funny. And every time I'm asked this question, I answer it differently. So I'll give you tonight's version.
Sounds perfect.
I had an experience when I was very young. I was ill and I was running a very high fever. And, you know, kind of when you're young and you kind of look to adults to see what the looks are on their faces to get a gauge of the situation. My parents were very concerned, and you could tell by the look on their faces. So they were trying to bring my fever down. And I remember looking up into the corner of my room onto the ceiling, and there was not a light in the corner of the room on the ceiling, but I saw one. And it was kind of emanating from the corner. And I just kind of stared at that light for a long time. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, you had a fever, you were probably hallucinating. But it's amazing that I remember that to this day, because I was younger than 5 years old. And I guess I felt kind of a calming sense when I was staring into that light. And I don't know, I've kind of been chasing that unicorn ever since. So from a very early age, I knew that there was more to this world than, you know, we traditionally see, and that there was much more going on around us.
But so, at that time, though, you didn't think of going into investigation. You were just having your own experience.
No, I think I was playing with my light bright. So I, with the back of that always in my mind, I was exposed to a lot of things early on. I lived on a farm, and we had horses and tons of animals. We were always the place that people would come to bring the animals that they couldn't take care of. And so I just learned to communicate with animals. I, at one point in my life, even preferred them to people. I had a horse who was kind of a trickster, and we had a very unique relationship. We would play tag, and I think it's just that intuitive nature that kept me pursuing things that were, I don't know, kind of weird and unusual. And so I would set off on my horse, and I would go to these abandoned old homes in the South. And I would bring a tape recorder along with me. Now, this was the one that was kind of rectangular, and it had the little buttons, like the record button was red, and it was a cassette tape. I mean, really archaic technology. But I would take that with me, and I would just go to these abandoned buildings and start asking questions and see if I could get any sort of responses. I didn't realize that I was investigating at the time. It was just something I thought was really cool. And my horse is very sensitive. So, when he would kind of alert to something, then I'd turn that recorder on and start asking questions. Is there anybody there? Can you hear me? And so I kind of abandoned that for a while in the college years, and met some folks who were very spiritual, and, one thing led to another, and I developed that spiritual side of myself, became a Reiki master, met up with some people. Really, it wasn't until I started watching the TV shows that I realized that there was actually a community of people out there that did the same thing. Up until that point, I just thought it was weird. But it was nice to know that there was a community of people around me who actually had tools and equipment and, would go out and do this. So that was pretty neat. And then I met kind of by happenstance through actually watching a live broadcast of his when he was investigating Chad Lindbergh, and who was on the show Ghost Stalkers. And I went to an event that he had, and that was the first public event type situation that I had ever been to, and group investigation, so to speak. It was a totally life-changing experience, and the people that I met there really kind of fueled my passion for this. And, fast forward 3 odd years later, and here we are. So that was a very long-winded answer.
No, and I think it's a great answer, because so much as that you said was so familiar, because before I got into creating Spaced Out Radio late in November of 2014, I had no idea that online radio existed. Because when I left terrestrial radio in 2007, I walked away from radio completely. I just disappeared. Not figuratively. I mean, not really, but figuratively, of course. And so when a good buddy of mine, Johnny Enoch, was like, dude, you got to start something up here. You got to get things going. You're having way too many experiences. I'm like, yeah, but what terrestrial radio station is going to pick us up? We're a no-name. That's not how it works. He's like, dude, there's this whole online thing going on. I'm like, what? So was it as much of a shock for you when you saw how big this community was online as it was for me?
It was. It truly was. I remember the first time that I ever discovered a live investigation that was being broadcast on Periscope. It was Chad Lindbergh's investigation. And I was just enthralled. I thought, first of all, that I could watch anything live from a handheld device. And it was shocking.
It was for me, too. I didn't realize there were about 25,000 radio shows on ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, or anything like that, because I literally thought Coast to Coast was it. I really did. And I just never really, like, even when I was surfing the net, I had never really looked into if there was anything else out there.
Right.
Because, I mean, I got hooked on it by Art Bell, as many of us did.
Right.
And when he wasn't on Coast anymore, I remember always saying, damn, like, I wish he was on somewhere. I'd like to hear him. But unfortunately he wasn't. And then he was, and then he wasn't, then he was, and then he wasn't, and so on, and so on, and so on. Oh my God, I feel like a Vidal Sassoon commercial right now. But the main thing is, I found it very overwhelming because all of a sudden I'm hearing all of these shows and I'm like, are these radio shows? Are these podcasts? So I didn't even know what a podcast was.
I didn't know the difference.
No, neither did I. Neither did I. It was a crash course nonetheless. So when you started getting involved in the community in the crash course and you saw all this politics and hatred and vile words coming out of people comparatively to the compliments and the helpfulness that other investigators would get, what was your opinion of all of that?
You know, it's like anything else. There are always going to be people who want to put other people down for whatever reason, you know, and the way that I look at it is that's kind of their baggage to carry. You know, they might want to leave it at your house, but you know, I just set it outside on the porch and let them pick it up. Any group of people, really, you know, you're gonna have that strong opinions. I have been involved in an industry career-wise that is predominantly male. So I think I always kind of have been able to ignore the background noise. It's not as bad as it used to be 10, 15 years ago. But I think when you go through that and you learn to tune out that background noise, you know, you're a much happier person. So.
And that's really the way it works. That's really the way it works, is you really have to, you know, hone in on your own game and worry about yourself in this field, because unfortunately, because there is no rule book to what we are doing, there is no set of guidelines or regulations that go around. Everybody is right in their own mind. And it causes a lot of friction. And for our listeners, especially on terrestrial, who may not be too involved with the paranormal community, it is weird out there, man. Like we may talk about some weird topics, but it is weird, strange, spiteful, hateful, cruel, cunning, and sometimes desirous. And I only use that word desirous because I wanted to. So when we go with that, and we look at the field, how do you stay out of the drama? How do you stay out of those war of words that seem to encapsulate social media on a daily basis?
That's a great question. You know, I think I've learned to laugh at things and not take them too seriously. Sometimes if you read through a thread where there's just the most asinine comments, especially if they're directed at somebody you know, it's at first it's kind of you want to bite back and defend that person, but then you keep reading the comments and I just think to myself, this is almost funny. Because it starts off, you know, talking about, I don't know, maybe a piece of evidence that somebody had and shared. And the next thing you know, people are arguing about bread. You know, it goes in the craziest directions and just spirals out of control. So I just do what I do. And I'm not really concerned what other people think. I never really have been. So it's, I think, a little bit easier for me. Sometimes some remarks will sting. And sometimes when you find out that someone may have said something about you personally, or, you know, I keep talking in third person, but if I find out that somebody has said something negative about me, I have to stop and ask myself, why? Did I give off some sort of misinformation or the wrong impression? And, you know, is this a relationship that I feel like is worth salvaging? And, you know, pull that person aside in a private forum and discuss it. I think that we've lost our ability to do that as a society almost. Everything is so public. Every argument we have is public. Every thought we have is public. And we feel like we have to express them for some reason. And just because you can doesn't mean you should. We've lost a little bit of our filter and our ability to speak with people one-on-one and resolve issues between each other, as opposed to airing all of our dirty laundry in public.
You're very right on that. And the paranormal community is much like what the mainstream community is right now. We're a headline community. We want to react and get offended and make our words strong that we are taking a stand on calling ghost spirits and spirits ghosts, or Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or UFOs, UAPs, and the debate goes on, and we're going to take a side and we're going to stand on it, and then all of a sudden, oh, look, a squirrel. That's right. Kind of the way it is around the field. When you are going into investigation, then, are you public with your investigations? Are you someone who broadcasts them live or talks about the results? Because that's where a lot of this tension seems to span in the paranormal community.
Yeah, that's a good point. It really depends on the situation. Sometimes if we're doing an investigation and we're getting certain responses or we're involved, I don't even think to go live because I'm caught up in the moment. Other times I know that I've had people private message me, and these are people that may be homebound, can't travel, can't, might even have a disability that prohibits them from going and doing investigations. And it's those messages sometimes that will prompt me to do a quick live session to show somebody a location, because they will most likely never get to go. So, I think there's arguments on both sides of that. But if the investigation is going really well and we're really in sync with what's happening at the location, I won't even think about going live. And sometimes the investigations we do aren't filmed at all. They're private. So it just depends on the situation, I think.
Are you the type of person, or investigator, I should say, that prefers the home cases, the residential cases, comparatively to, say, the foundations of haunted tourism that are out there all over the place?
Well, I'm a traveler by nature. I very much enjoy traveling. So anytime I get the opportunity to, if I'm on a work trip, let's say, and I have a free night, if there's a location nearby, then I may try and find a group to go investigate with that night. I'm kind of a vagabond investigator, really. I like to go and investigate with different teams. And I learn a lot of things from a lot of different people. Sometimes the questions that people ask, or their methodology. That was a mouthful.
That's a good one. Nice job.
Thank you. Sometimes their methodologies are different, and it will open me up to see things in a different way. The residential cases, I used to enjoy doing those, but I had a couple of bad experiences where, there was, I think, some things going on in that home that were really creating the problems, and it was the living people, not so much anything that I could sense and pick up. And, that's another thing with residential cases. If somebody is really affected by the surroundings, I don't feel like I am knowledgeable enough to truly help somebody, because if I don't have any evidence that anything is going on, that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't anything going on. There could be something going on. If I tell somebody that there's nothing going on, that leaves them in an awkward position, and it doesn't help them any further. So I've steered away from residential investigations lately for a couple of different reasons. But, that really being the case, I don't feel like I'm experienced enough to truly make a decision that could affect somebody's life one way or another. I do enjoy getting out and going to different locations, investigating with different teams, and experiencing, the local flavor around those places.
In regards to, as we only got about 2.5 minutes here before we go to break, to the investigative traveling that you do and working with different teams, what is something that's pretty important that you have learned, whether it's positive or negative, in your own investigative techniques?
I would say that at any time, it's okay to leave. If you're not comfortable with what's going on around you, it's okay to exit stage left. And, no harm done, no bad feelings. I got a headache and I got to go. Also, on a positive note, it's learning different things from other people and not being so closed-minded as to your investigation tactics, and being open to the fact that you can learn from people, even though they may not be as experienced as you. I really enjoy investigating with different teams. And I think one thing is important is the respect factor. If you are invited to an investigation with another team, it's important to follow their rules, their guidelines, and be yourself in the process, but also respect the fact that this is a team that's been together for however long and they have their process down.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. And I'm sure you scout your teams, though, before you join them. It's not something that you're just going to say, oh, there's a team in the area, right, and I'm going to check them out. And in the meantime, they may not be too up and up, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah. I'm not just going to hop in the car with anybody and go to an abandoned building.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You have fun with it, though.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You still get that enjoyment after all those years?
Every time I walk into a different location.
Is it the different locations and the thrill that it's always different, or is it something that you are just excited to be doing what you love?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I really enjoy it. And even locations that I've been to before, just walking back through the door, it's always different.
Well, on that note, I'm going to get you to sit tight because we're going to go to break at the bottom of the hour here. Girls versus ghosts.
Yay.
They're dropping the gloves tonight on the mighty SOR. We're going to get into male versus female investigative techniques. Charla Hardin from Ghosts versus Girls, or Girls versus Ghosts, is our guest tonight. More paranormal talk all night long on the mighty SOR. Coming on up.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you for coming along for the ride. Remember, if you miss any part of this show or any others, you can always go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. That's where we store our archives for free. Only thing I ask in return, hit that subscribe button. Our new website is under construction, so you have a couple of weeks to just look at this plain page that looks kind of cool. Nice snowy sunset of the Caribou, where we are located. So go check that out as well. We're going to have a lot of new features coming up on the new website very, very soon. Tonight we are talking girls versus ghosts. Charla Hardin is our guest tonight. And we're going to get into this whole topic of male versus female paranormal investigation. Charla, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to explain right off the bat. I am not a paranormal investigator. I am not a UFO investigator. I'm not a Bigfoot researcher. Do I like going to do things like that? Of course I do. I'm in this field. Why wouldn't I? So I don't know a lot about the investigation, the techniques, but I've been around enough people who do this as their hobby and or career to know the difference between male versus female investigation. Now, the way I see it as somebody who observes things, because that's kind of what I do, I tend to see it as the following. I find men to be a little bit more aggressive. I find men to be a little bit more scientific, less reliant on their own spirituality for the most part, maybe a little bit anxious and angry if they're not getting what they want, whereas with female investigators, there seems to be a lot more compassion, sometimes mothering, sometimes showing love and affection rather than trying to go and, run a ghost through the grates or something along that line. You've been around this a lot longer than I have. What is your theory on the debate, male versus female in the paranormal community?
Let's see. I'm of course going to say that it depends on the individual, but I will say there are some misconceptions. One misconception being that all females are mothering. I've been on investigations where there were many females who were not very mothering and nurturing and gentle with the spirits and with the environment. The second myth I'll dispel is that that women are less technically inclined. I cringe often at the way technology and equipment is misused and misconstrued and passed off as evidence because I understand how it works. I come from a technical background. I'm in a very technical field. One of my mentors was also an engineer, and she is very technically inclined and builds her own equipment. I think that's as far as I'll go with dispelling myths, but some men can be very sensitive and others can be just outright egotistical, slamming doors, trying to provoke. That's one thing I don't like is provoking. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. And, if you're confronted by a darker spirit or a darker energy, and being firm and telling them basically to leave, watching my language. But especially, I think what I see sometimes, if there are men in a group who don't know each other and they're investigating together for the first time, it's kind of it's that contest, it's the, I've been doing this longer than you, and I'm going to show you how it's done kind of thing. I just have to kind of turn my head and yawn whenever I encounter that. Or somebody who thinks that they know everything. Nobody can know everything about this. The only time that we're going to know everything about it, we're not really going to be in a position to tell anybody like we can now, because we'll be on the other side, right? So until there is some sort of technological breakthrough that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt what we're doing is eliciting real responses with empirical data that can be measured and proven scientifically, then nobody is an expert. We might like to think that we are sometimes, because our experiences are very real to us. But at the end of the day, nobody really knows. So to go into a situation where it becomes this contest of proving knowledge, I see that more among men than I do among women. I find that women who investigate together are a little more open to each other's differences and the social aspect of it, and the respect factor. But I will tell you, there are some amazing men out there that are not the provoking type at all. So it's important, I think, to understand who you're going to go investigate with, before you get too deep into it and you just want to turn around and leave. And then there are situations where I think that we're cast in a role in an environment where we are put in a place of, you're the nice one to talk to the spirit, or, you stay behind us. I think that's one thing that kind of bothers me too. But I know it's just chivalry and people are being kind and, wanting to protect us. But I don't have a problem being the first to walk into a room. I can take care of myself. I'm not fragile. So that rubs me the wrong way a lot, is that initial, we have to protect you instinct that I guess is really nature in and of itself. But at the same time, it just, Dave, it just kills me. Sometimes I want to say, well, I probably need to protect you.
No, and I understand that, and I can appreciate that. I mean, I have investigated with women out there who are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not trying to bring a whole sexist, drop the gloves like a hockey game type of thing here. But I do, and I have noticed the differences between. Now, every group, doesn't matter who you are, have their strengths and have their weaknesses. But and you can only go by what you have noticed on your own. But when you go through these investigative techniques, I have noticed through investigation that the women whom I have mainly investigated with get a lot more results than I do because of that. Well, maybe it's just my community or the ladies I work with, but they're very mothering. They're very nurturing. Like at our museum here, we had a ghost cat that we didn't even know was there. Walk right up to them. A young girl. I would have never thought going to this young girl spirit in the house of bringing nursery rhyme books to try and communicate. Whereas me, I'm just like, okay, let's go in there. Who's there? What's going on? Hello? Anybody here? Turn on the light. Knock on the wall. Right? Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much how I am when I go, because I'm not a pro. This isn't what I do. But nonetheless, I found it very intriguing, and I've learned a lot more because of it.
Right.
So that's kind of where I was going with that.
I mean, I could see that. I guess because I've investigated with a lot of different women, maybe I've seen both sides. But I could see that. Again, it's that nature. It's just like the male instinct to protect. It's the female instinct to nurture and mother. But not all females are like that, just like not all males are like that. So, but if we're looking at, like averages, I would probably say that there's a lot of truth to that, to what you just said.
So when you go into a building and you are with an all-female team, what's that like?
It's a different energy. I recently went to an investigation with the Twisted Realm. Well, the Twisted Paranormal Society, they have a show on VidiSpace called The Twisted Realm, and I've been working with them kind of on the side for a little while. They're actually going to be the film crew for a documentary series I'm going to be filming at the end of this year called Ghosts of War series. And I really liked the way that team worked together. And there was you could just tell there was mutual respect among the team members, and they were like a family. I was really excited and lucky to be able to investigate with them a few weekends ago at St. Albans in Virginia. And it was a different dynamic. I mean, everybody was kind of on an even playing field. It was very interesting, but there was a moment, and I can't give too much away because it might be on the season finale, but there was a moment when there were 5 women in one isolated part of the building. And it was amazing, the experience that we had. I was able to capture it on, of all things, my iPhone. It's all I had. We didn't go in with the intention of filming it, but it was such a powerful moment that I felt like that story needed to be told from that perspective, because the first part of the story had been told the previous day, and this was kind of this moment of closure that this individual needed. And it was an incredibly emotional moment, and we were all in tears by the time it was over. And it wasn't necessarily like bad tears or fear tears. It was a very powerful moment of respect and release and letting go. And it was magical. I was up in an attic with the other creator of Girls versus Ghosts, and I don't mean to say the other creator, my partner in Girls versus Ghosts, Beth Moore, and her best friend Shannon Griffin, and they have a group together, BAB Paranormal, BAB, and the 3 of us were standing in the attic at Randolph County Infirmary, and we had this experience, the 3 of us together. There was a whole group of people there, but we kept feeling these cold spots, and it was almost like if you're a diver and you go to, if you're a scuba diver and you go to like a quarry, there's a very noticeable thermocline, that where the water on top is warmer than the water below it, and you can feel that thermocline, that line. If you're kind of cruising along and you drag your hand through it, it was very much like that in the attic, where you could feel the temperature differential just by lowering your hand 6 inches, and we all felt like there was a child spirit there with us, and the spirit of a young boy. So we started asking some questions, and we got a response. I can't remember what device we were using, but it said paint, P-A-I-N-T, paint. And we didn't think much about it, but we were leaving, and right before we got to the door, there was a big, like the contractors use, a big white bucket of paint. And that was kind of neat. So my experiences investigating with women, when you're with a good group of women and you're all there for the right reasons, I guess, it's great. It's wonderful.
Are the results different?
Possibly. I think some of the women that I've investigated with were not quick to move on. We will stop and have a little more patience, I think, with eliciting responses, and we're okay with the silence for a moment. Whereas I think certain men, and it's not all, but certain men will just kind of keep hammering away at trying to get a response. And if they don't get anything, they're ready to go to the next place. Whereas I think women, particularly in a group of women, will slow things down a little bit in order to be a little more patient and get the final result. It's like Beth says all the time, you wouldn't want anybody just walking into your house, barging through your door and shouting questions at you. You'd tell them to leave or you'd call the police. And, it's the same scenario when you go into particularly a building that is investigated often, and there is, that is known for activity. The spirits are residents there. And, as temporary as it may be, if they're just coming through for the day or the year or however long they camp out, it's still their space. And having that respect factor and that patience factor, and actually having a conversation to try and elicit a response, as opposed to just kind of shouting and demanding, I think you do get better results that way. For the right kind of spirits, anyway. The other way might get, it's like stepping into an anthill.
Well, it definitely can be, because, like you said, I've investigated with women. I've investigated on teams with all men. And the one thing that I have noticed in going in with an all-male group is the fact, besides, we feel like, we're a 90s pop star group, whatever it may be, no leather jackets, though.
No.
You can still feel that masculinity around it. You can still feel that the bravado that we have to show up in front of our friends. We gotta play the tough guy role. We have to go in there and say, well, if this is the way you're doing it, I'm going to do it that way too. And it's kind of like a real wave of testosterone going in. And that's why I was very curious about an all-female team in regards to that, because I could see it being exactly how you portrayed.
Right. Yeah. It just depends. You have to surround yourself with people who are there for the right reasons. And, sometimes that's not as easy to see as it is in other situations, but you can tell after a while of who's there and for the right reasons. And for the right reasons, I say, what are my right reasons, which is to learn, to research, to experience. Others are there to provoke and elicit negative responses for the shock factor. And that's just not cool with me.
Well, there has to be an even balance, though. Because no matter if it's male or female, you're still going to get the people out there, as we got about a minute to go here, you're still going to get the people out there, Sharla, who feel they have something to prove because in their mind, they're number one. They're the ones who do it correctly. Everybody else does it wrong. And there's a lot of ego that goes along with that. I don't think you can get away with that.
Yeah.
So if you're in that situation, how do you combat that? How do you move yourself away from that?
It depends, but I mean, short of just turning around and walking out and leaving, which I have done before. I'm a pretty tall person, and I have, I think, a pretty strong presence sometimes, and just inserting myself into the situation and changing the energy of the place and kind of taking it into a different direction sometimes can help. But usually if it's over the top and the person's not going to change what they're doing, then there's no reason for me to be there.
I hear you there. And on that note, what I'm going to do here, Sharla, is I'm going to get you to hold on tight. It's been a great first hour so far on Spaced Out Radio, as Charla Hardin is our guest. You can check out her website, girlsversusghosts.com. That's VS for versus, girlsversusghosts.com. She also has a great podcast that can be found on Blog Talk Radio as well. We're going to get into investigative technique, some hauntings that she has covered, and we're going to find out more about how much fun paranormal investigation can be. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio right after this. Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all?
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com. We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio. The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have you with us. Tomorrow night on the show, we finish off the week with Brian D. Parsons talking about the science of the paranormal. We get going at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and in Noonan, Georgia, WQEE 99.1 FM. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Revolution Radio and Deep Talk Radio. Remember, all of our archives are free at youtube.com/spaced out radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Humdudgian. Humdudgian is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is under construction. Don't worry, though. It will be up, looking good, sexy, mean, sleek, and very, very user-friendly coming up in the next couple of weeks. Tonight, we are talking girls versus ghosts. It's a great podcast on Blog Talk Radio. Paranormal investigator Sharla Hardin is here with us tonight. Sharla, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It is a pleasure. We're going to start off with some audience questions here.
Ooh. Catherine
is asking, have you ever noticed spirits provoking first?
Catherine, that's a great question. Actually, yes, I have. Poking, tugging of hair. I've had some nasty things come over a couple of different devices. So, yeah, it happens. And usually it's when I'm least expecting it or when my guard is down and I'm thinking of, did I transfer the laundry from the washer to the dryer yesterday, little things like that. And when I'm not thinking about why I'm there in the first place to investigate, that's when it happens the most to me. Great question.
There's a comment by Julianne in here, and I think it's kind of important. I'm going to phrase it in a question here. What's your idea on a female perspective of investigating when someone's pregnant?
I've never really thought about it. I know that there are places that I will allow my children to go and not allow them to go, but I'm trying to think if I've ever been on an investigation with someone who is pregnant. I really don't have a feeling per se on it. I think it's up to the individual and how comfortable they are with it and how well they protect themselves and how aware they are of their surroundings. It's just like anything else. We don't know what we're dealing with out there. So, there are absolutely precautions you can take. But I think it's really up to the individual to decide for themselves.
Yeah, because I have heard from other people that they have forewarned against it because the baby inside the womb isn't fully protected. Have you heard of that?
I have. But I've also known people who were energy workers who could potentially dispel something like that. So, again, I'm just not qualified to answer that. I would think that it would be up to the individual. It's an interesting question, though. I've really never thought about it.
Okay, I'll ask you this one then. Would you want to investigate with someone who is pregnant just to see the results, or would you recommend someone who is pregnant to investigate?
I would never say to somebody who is pregnant, I think you should go investigate. I would warn them of the dangers and, ask them if they had any questions, if there was anything I could do to help them. And And I would ask them, how comfortable they were doing it. And of course, there's, the occupational hazard of it. Some of these buildings you go into, they're thick with mold and asbestos and, what is it? Guano.
Guano.
Yeah.
Bad excrement. Bad scat. Right there.
Guano happens.
Guano happens. Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Gosh, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. I've never even heard that question. That is really a great question. I'd probably say wait, but again, it's up to the individual.
Well, I realize that, but on a personal level, how do you feel about it? Would you?
I wouldn't do it. No.
Okay. So why wouldn't you?
Again, because of the first question that Catherine had, have I been in a situation where they provoke first? Yeah, I have. I've been blindsided several times. I've been, as much as I think I'm aware and protected, there's that, the 98% time that you're aware and protected, there's that 2% time that you're not. So, I wouldn't do it personally, but that's just me.
Yeah, you don't want to be putting the child in any type of harm's way at the best of times, never mind on a spiritual level as well.
Right.
All right, let's get to Uncle Dale's question here in the chat room of the SOR Space Travelers Club on Facebook. He is asking, how do ghosts act differently when there are men with the women on a team versus women only? Do they flirt, aggress, or anything else more with a female-only team?
It was Uncle
Dale.
Uncle Dale. It's all of the above. We investigated a brothel once. Or it was a place that had been a brothel. It's called the Rhodes Hotel in Atlanta, Indiana. It's currently run by Mike from the Lost Limbs Foundation. And this was before he actually took over the place. He was there with us as we were all just a group of friends going to investigate. And it was really funny because there was some serious propositioning going on with the men from the female spirits that were there. I had never seen that before, but we got some pretty crazy responses on multiple devices and the SLS cam, and it was kind of funny. It really was, but yeah, I mean, there've been flirty things that have come over devices and even thermal images of things lurking about in weird ways. We'll just leave it that way. We'll just put it that way. And I've had some recently, the one at St. Albans, there was a really, really nasty response that we got. I mean, just graphically, wow. It happens. And it could be in a group of mixed males and females. It could be in a group of females only. I don't know about the male only perspective, but definitely it happens. I've never been, it's interesting though, Uncle Dale, now that I think about it, because I don't think I've ever been in a situation with a group of women where male spirits were overly aggressive. There have been some comments here and there, but usually, women can kind of shut that thing down. We're used to it in certain situations. So we kind of know how to deal with it.
Last year at our museum that I run a charity ghost tour for, I did a private tour with a women's club, and there was me and 12 different women, and I took them into this one room in the lower half of our post house, and there's a guy in there that we call the Blue Man because he has been seen, and he's a shadow man with a blue aura that glows around him. And every now and again, he will, it's really funny because for the real skeptic type crowd, he will actually drop cobwebs on their face. And we check the building before every tour in that room where he is, just to make sure there are no cobwebs on the ceilings or in the corners, because it's such a weird experience. I've experienced it 3 times. And anyhow, this dude would not give us his name. We eventually got his name. His name was Paul. But, and this is going to sound a little perverse, but he kept on giving his initials. And he kept on telling us his initials were B and J. And then when this group of women came around, well, my goodness, my virgin ears heard things that I've never heard in a group of 12 women before. The potty mouths that were coming out, this guy was all over the place, running around the room. We had 12 women sitting down on couches and chairs and everything in the room, and it was unbelievable. Like we had 7 K2 meters in that room, and he was pinning all 7 to red at the same time. That's how excited he was. I mean, these ladies were having the time of their lives, throwing the most perverted comments at this guy. And he was all over it. And to this day, I have never seen him that active.
He was enjoying himself.
It was a blast. And normally in that room, we're probably, because he's kind of boring, we're usually in there maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes tops. But we were in that room for an hour. It was just pure entertainment.
Was it awkward for you at all at first?
Very, very awkward. You know, I'm an innocent, purebred Canadian guy. I'm not used to that kind of stuff. Right? But the comments that I was hearing, like these ladies, they were like, come on, come join us. We're all going to rip our clothes off and get on down and all of this. And he was like, all of a sudden, you know, do you want to join us? 7 K2s pinned to red, like pinned, not moving back and forth, pinned to red. It was unbelievable.
Paul was like, it's on.
Oh yeah,
I'm your guy.
This was his dream. This was his title shot, and he was winning. We got a follow-up question from Uncle Dale here, and he is asking: is the absence of men on the team freeing in any way?
I think. I don't know how to answer that, Uncle Dale. I think it's like anything else. You know, it's fun to have a girls' night out investigating. You know, just like it's fun for, you know, some guys to have guys' night out, whatever they do, right? Liberating, freeing, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I think so. Maybe a little bit.
Freeing how?
Well, you don't have to worry about that scrutiny of that. Well, I mean, you know, my girlfriends and I, we talk about everything. You know, we have no filters. We talk about everything. And, you know, we had a 15-minute conversation on Girls versus Ghost Radio one night about shaving in the shower and the difficulties and the trials and tribulations of it. So, you know, we talk about everything.
It is not that easy for men either, you know.
It's not. It's not. It's not. And so I think that when the men are out of the room, I know with my girlfriends in my friend group, we do. It's a little more relaxed because that level of communication is there, and that comfortable level that a lot of women share in their tribe or their group.
Very understandable.
Does that answer the question?
I think it does. Let's get to Darren's question here. And Darren says, say hi to Charla. So Darren says hi.
Hi,
to
Darren.
You. And
Darren.
Darren. Darren. You know Darren.
I know Darren.
Absolutely. Hi, Darren. How are you? Darren is asking, what is your favorite device to use while on an investigation?
I love my Paranology's Periscope. And it's Parascope. It's by Paranology's. I love it goes with me everywhere. When I go on work trips, I take it with me. I don't know why I like this device so much, but I do. It's really hard to set it off by mistake. It works on static electricity, my understanding of how it works. And I actually picked up this device at Gettysburg Ghost Exchange, where I had one of the most incredible experiences of my life. So maybe there's a little bit of that attached to it, for me. But every time I see the spectrum go from red to green, it's like it's charging to me. And it's funny when you have a spirit that plays with it and can make it do different things that you haven't seen it do before. And knowing how hard it is to make it false, it's pretty cool. Paranologies, they're probably my favorite. Jeremy's probably my favorite manufacturer of equipment.
All right. Let's move on to Joe's question. And Joe has nice hair, so we like to get his questions in. Beautiful mane. Beautiful
Joe
mane.
with
Naturally
nice hair.
streaked. Yeah, naturally streaked, too. And
Nice.
he is asking, Charla, how do you feel about people trying to force ghosts or spirits into the light when they may not want to go?
If they don't want to go, well, here's the thing. I just have a hard time believing that they're stuck in the first place. That's just me personally. Although I have witnessed a couple of people do that, and it's been very emotional, and you could feel the level of emotion. But I think, again, we don't really know what we're dealing with, right? There are actually places that will make you sign a waiver stating that you will not cross ghosts over or spirits over, which I find interesting. That has to be a clause. I've never asked anybody why, but that's something I'm going to put on my list to do next time I'm at a location that has that clause. But I don't know. It's I just think if something can transcend the fabric of space and time and move freely, and we can have experiences with people that we know who have passed and come back to visit us, I don't think they're stuck. I think that it's kind of a free will thing. You can go and come as you please. I don't know if you really get stuck. I mean, maybe there's some sort of residual energy or experience that is holding that person to a place, like they're waiting for their spouse or their child, or they don't feel comfortable leaving because there's some sort of unfinished whatever here on Earth. I think if you steer them towards the light maybe and say, that if you go through that light, you can come back. You don't have to stay. I think that's one thing, but I don't know if you can really force a spirit through that gateway. I don't know if that's really possible.
We actually had that happen at our museum last year.
Really?
Yeah. We had one of our most popular spirits at our museum was a young lady who we call Mary. Mm-hmm. And back in her living days, she was kidnapped to be a prostitute along the old Gold Rush Trail. And sad life, but in the room next to her, we have this spirit named Willie who has attacked before. And Willie is kind of her caretaker, making sure that she's all right. The guy's kind of in love with her kind of thing, even on the other side. Mm-hmm. And we had this medium come in whom I had worked with in the past who decided that, we just weren't getting anything. And all of a sudden she says, "Oh, I crossed her over." Well, why did you do that? Oh, she wanted to go. Well, we have had numerous psychic mediums look in there, and because of this show, there are a couple out there that I very much trust, and I always make sure that our spirits are doing well. Well, I'll tell you, ever since then, our museum for the tour has not been the same. Not been the same at all. And sometimes in areas that we were having plenty of action where our tour guides were literally taking their groups and just having a great fun time with communication, now are almost completely dead.
Really?
Yeah. And this lady, when I asked her why she did it, she was all about, well, she asked me to. I said, no, she didn't. I said, I've had dozens of mediums here. And I have this place checked all the time. Never once has she asked to leave. But on the flip side, this lady comes from the dark. She does everything from the dark. And we ended up finding out that she actually sent her to a purgatory type area rather than to the light. And we were able to get the spirit back because of that, but it's never been the same. Never been the same. It's terrible.
Weird. That's like tragic.
It very much is, considering the one spirit that was crossed, or the gentleman who was very upset about this, the gentleman spirit Willie. We had to shut down the buildings or that one building because he's been known to attack when he's mad. So she caused a lot of danger with that as well. Scary, but nonetheless. You sit tight. We're going to go to a break here at the bottom of the hour. Charla Hardin is our guest tonight. Girls versus Ghosts. Having a great paranormal conversation. Let's learn some of her favorite hauntings and stories when we come back. And, of course, more of your questions as well. You're listening to Spaced Out Radio.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017. for your 20% discount today.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters of the frozen Canadian tundra. And remember, if you've missed most of this show so far or any others, you want to check out our archives, we have them free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is under construction. We are rebuilding due to the wild amounts of people we've had visiting. We are actually going to be expanding our website here soon, so it'll be down for a couple of weeks, but nonetheless, you could still go there to listen to the show as well. Tonight, we are talking with Charla Hardin. She is part of a team called Girls vs. Ghosts. Website is girlsversusghosts.com. We're talking experiences here and your questions as well. Charla, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, very much, very much.
Thank
Anyhow,
you.
Hey, that's the way we do it. If you want to do an impression here, that is allowed.
Is that allowed? Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's get to a question here from Kevin. He says, Dave, Charla's view of men in the field, in my opinion, appears myopic and stereotypical of the male ego. Charla, do you think your fellow hunters are immature, unexperienced, or even attracted to your charms and trying to impress you to explain their ignorant behavior?
I don't know. That's a great question. I never thought of it from that perspective. I don't know. Maybe not.
Oh, come on. Be politically incorrect for once here.
I don't know.
It's a radio here, man.
I don't know. Maybe. But you know what? I tend to kind of block things out like that. So I don't know. Maybe. Not recently, though. Maybe in the beginning, but not recently. I'm older now.
I hate that whole older thing. I do.
I know. I can't see. I can't hear.
I know the feeling. I take off my headphones after every show, and the tinnitus is just so loud. I'm like, turn it down, and it's like, screw you.
Yeah, at my age, you drive by construction sites hoping to get a whistle.
Yeah, that's never happened. Never happened, but...
You don't get whistles when you drive?
No, not anymore. I'm way too old, chubby, and gray now. All right, moving on here. I think we got another question from Uncle Dale. Oh, pardon me. Nope, not Uncle Dale. His mustache is taking a break so far. This one comes from Gail, and she is asking, how does a ghost get forced to the other side? I thought they had their free will.
I'm with you on that, Gail. I am with you on that, girlfriend. I don't know how they're forced to. I mean, I just got some inside information a few minutes ago that there are, I guess, darker forces at work who can perform that type of ritual. But I don't know. I've never tried to force anything to do anything. So I don't know how you do that. If there's like some magical spell or full on intent or how that works. I don't know, Gail. But I wish they wouldn't do it.
I think it's an ego thing. I really do think it's an ego thing.
You might be onto something there, Dave.
It's the power trip of I can do this or I can do that and you can't.
It's the God complex.
Exactly. Let's get to Joe's Hair's question again. And he is asking, the main is asking, Charla, what's your opinion of ghost hunters who think that everything is a demon?
Yawn. That's my opinion. I tell you what, they'll find out when they come face to face with a real one that not everything is a demon. I don't, there are certain views, that suggest that any type of spiritual activity is demon-ish. But I don't believe that for a second. I just don't. And I don't think that, no, because demons can't exist without the opposite, right? So, no. No.
All right. Come on. What's a little demons among friends here?
I mean, demons,
demons here, demons there.
There's demons everywhere, right? I mean, we all have our own personal demons, but not everything is a demon. It's like somebody left the cap off the milk. Demon! No, it's a teenager. Well.
Darn teenagers.
Sometimes it's not a far leap. I'm just kidding. My kids are great. I love them. But no, not every...
Sure.
Not every single thing is a demon.
Let's get to Darren's question here. I wonder if Darren has a good... I wonder if he has a good mustache. He seems like the kind of guy who would have a good mustache. And he is asking... Darren, please confirm that in the chat room for us, if you don't mind. He is asking, have you ever witnessed someone being possessed on an investigation?
Yes, I have. And I hope she doesn't mind me talking about it because she's discussed it before. But my partner, Beth, we were at Randolph County Infirmary. Again, we were downstairs in the basement, and we were just going along doing our investigation thing. And she just changed. And I know Beth like the back of my hand. She knows me the same way. I mean, we're tight. And she just changed. And I saw it happen. She went ghostly pale. She lost all expression on her face. She looked up at me, and it was like I was looking into somebody else's eyes. And I pulled her aside, and I said, "Are you okay?" And her hand gestures and her mannerisms were different. It was like if you put on a jacket that's 5 sizes too big and you're trying to find your keys in your pocket at the same time. It just like it wouldn't work. It was weird. And she was telling me this story, and there was an area of this building where they used to perform sedations and psychiatric treatments, and I put those in air quotes. And she was telling me the story of this person who was there, and that was very drugged, and that they felt very drugged. And for a second I was like, did she come in contact with something that, did somebody slip her a roofie or, but I knew all the people that were there at the investigation. So that wasn't the case, but I mean, it was very real, and her responses were very real. And she led us to this room, and she said, "This is where I sat and I scratched at the wall until my fingernails bled." And, I just kind of sat there for a minute thinking, all right, not really sure what to do here. But we need to do something because this isn't right. And so I called Shannon over there, and Shannon talked to her for a little while, and then we did some energy work, and she kind of came back around. The color was restored to her face. Her face kind of plumped back up, and her eyes were Beth's eyes again, but she was really disturbed by what she had seen in her in her mind's eye, as she said she just didn't have control of her body, which I completely believe. I witnessed it myself. It was very strange. Well, fast forward a year and a half later, and somebody had found some history on the place, and there was a story about somebody in one of those rooms that had scratched on the wall until their fingernails bled. There's no way she could have known that story, because this was uncovered in, I believe it was patient files that were uncovered, I believe, somewhere in the town where they had moved all of those records to at some point in time or another when the property changed hands.
Interesting.
So, yes, Darren.
I watched my daughter getting possessed by Mary, the ghost that a few months later, Mary was the one affected. But Mary really took a sheen to my daughter and actually walked into her. My daughter, and we had enough people around there to control the situation. But my 15-year-old daughter at the time, she's now 16, she says, "It's okay, Mary, if you come into me." And all of a sudden, my daughter just faints. And Mary, and you hear her like, oh, kind of like there was almost a little bit of a battle of control. And then psychic Derek White's Sky Cloud had to, ask Mary to step out. And that's when my daughter regained consciousness. It was kind of cool. It was kind of cool.
I mean, you can see the change. You can see it happen. It's crazy.
Instantaneous.
Yeah.
Instantaneous. It's phenomenal. But I don't think I would let that happen if there wasn't the people that were there involved. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and you were familiar with the spirit too, so.
Yes. It was kind of cool. It really was kind of cool. Another question coming up. Oh, by the way, we got great confirmation from Darren that he is growing a handlebar mustache. Nice. Very impressed with that. Very impressed. Keep it growing, Darren. Keep it growing. Sharon is asking a question. Charla, do you have an opinion on ethics in the paranormal field? And how is your ethical opinion different from others, particularly men?
My opinion, based on the people that I surround myself with, my opinion is pretty much on par with theirs. It's respect, it's safety, it's watching out for each other. It's not violating the rules of the site. It's not engaging in, using drugs or alcohol. It's being truthful and honest. I could go on and on and on. Particularly men, I don't know if I really see a difference necessarily ethics-wise in men versus women, because I've seen some women do some really dumb things at places before. And, some that just want attention. So they're like, oh, I can't, blah, blah, blah. Like there's suddenly capsized by a spirit, and faint and whatever. And you just know it. You just know when that stuff isn't real. And that bothers me because it ruins everybody's night. Don't be that person. Don't ruin everybody else's night. Men, it's the same thing. Some men are great. Others just walk in and take over and poke and prod. And there's just different. It depends on who you work with.
It is about the comfortability factor, is it not?
In what way?
Well, in regards to who you work with, because if you're working with people where you're not like-minded, or you're not feeling very convinced that they have your back in that type of situation, which can be dangerous.
Yes,
that's where that's where you got to watch yourself.
Yes, yeah, it's you got to respect the rules of the road when you're there.
In your opinion, with a lot of the newer investigators, say over the last couple of years, who have come into the field due to its popularity, as someone who's done this for a while, do you think there's a real lack of understanding, kind of I'm going to use the word ethics like was in that last question, in giving respect to other ghost hunters?
Yes, I do. And I think that that's up to us as a community to educate those people so that they don't take that route, if that makes sense. I mean, I think it's on us just as much as it's on them, because they don't know. They don't know. A lot of people will go to things like this, with a flask in their pocket because, they saw a cool flyer and they're like, yeah, let's go get scared. Let's go investigate like they do on TV. They have no clue what it's about. So I think it's important for us as a community to make sure that we stress what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and that we educate them. But yeah, it does kind of irk me sometimes.
Very cool. We have about 5 minutes here before we're going to go to a break. I want to hear a story from you.
A 5-minute story?
Sure. Let's see if we can get a 5-minute story. In regards to, have you ever had an experience where you've literally had the daylight scared out of you, where you wouldn't go back to that situation? Let's hear.
Yes. Okay. Well, one in particular, it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it was completely and utterly terrifying when I was there. We're in a basement investigating at a large building, and weren't getting many responses. And it was a group investigation. It was a public event, and there was a young couple standing next to me. And she was just kind of snapping some photos, and somebody had said something like, show us something, I guess they're not going to do anything in here. Let's go to another room. And all of a sudden, the girl's phone, she was holding it out in front of her face like you do to take a picture, of the room around you, and not a selfie, but, she was trying to capture something. And all of a sudden that phone flew straight out of her hands and up and over her right shoulder. Behind her. There's no way that you can do that and your hands remain in the position that they were in front of her. It scared the guano out out of me.
That's very good use of the word guano. That's twice tonight, right?
I know. I'm trying to watch my language. So I had never seen an object move with that great of a force before. And that was a really poignant moment for me, because if they can do that, there's no telling what else they can do. The funny part was her boyfriend said, "You're going to break your screen." I'm like, never mind the fact that something just slapped it out of her hand. You're concerned about the screen? I'm out.
When you go into a situation like that, did you feel prepared, or was it just something that happened and you're lucky that nobody was hurt?
I wasn't prepared for that. I mean, I know this is a place that is notorious for negative activity, and I had already experienced several things happening at that site. One girl had a seizure. Another one had a full-out panic attack. 3 weeks later, another girl was hauled away in an ambulance with heart palpitations. I mean, this place is very real. There's a lot of negativity there. And but I nothing could have prepared me to see what I saw. And honestly, I probably wouldn't believe it if I wasn't standing right there next to her, because I had never seen that great of a force used to move an object before. It was violent.
That's almost poltergeist type activity.
Yeah, it's next level for sure.
Would you go back there?
No.
Come on.
Nope. We come back from the break, I'll tell you why. But I'm not going back there.
Well, we got 2 minutes. Tease us a little bit.
Oh, I guess it's a lot for 2 minutes. In that same building, down in a room, we were standing in a circle, and somebody had mentioned that there had been activity in there that night, and there was something that was, I mean, used the term bum rushing, but that's exactly what was happening. There was this object that you could see a very faint reddish hue to that was just bouncing off of people back and forth throughout the circle. It was, kind of like, the cartoons of the Tasmanian devil.
Yes.
Where he spins around and does his thing. That's the only thing I can relate it to. And it was very negative, and I didn't want to be there. I wanted to leave. Same building, 2 rooms away from where we were. And you could see it.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
My whole body chemistry changes just talking about it. Like it's...
like you can feel the negativity.
Yes.
We had that happen here recently. We had Carl Pfeiffer on from the television series or docuseries Hellier. Mm-hmm. And the second he mentioned Indrid Cold, the extraterrestrial, it started, like within seconds, weird stuff started happening in the studio here. It's just amazing the power that type of feeling can have, or just somebody mentioning the right thing can have on a situation.
Yeah, it's, I don't even like saying the name of it.
Then don't. Save yourself.
Yeah, run, everybody run.
You hold
run
on.
For your lives.
Hey, that's a good Iron Maiden song. Run to the hills, run for your lives. You hold on, Charla. We're going to kick on out for the break here at the top of the hour. We got 30 minutes left with Charla Hardin tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Girls vs. Ghosts. Charla's website, girlsversusghosts.com, if you want to check it on out. Also, go to her podcast on Blog Talk Radio. We're going to be back with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio coming on up.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel, the freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social media freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
We're underway in the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Tomorrow night on the show, we finish off the week. Brian D. Parsons will be our guest, talking science of the paranormal at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newnan, Georgia, and KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California. On the digital side, we welcome in everyone listening in on Revolution Radio and Deep Talk Radio. Remember, all of our YouTube channel shows are free. That's where we store our archives, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, and it is Humdudgian. Humdudgian is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is under construction. We're building a brand new website due to popular demand, and it's going to look bigger, badder, and a lot more easier for you to find stuff. So stay on tune with that in the next couple of weeks. For the final time tonight, we introduce our guest, Sharla Hardin. She is part of a great group called Girls vs. Ghosts, based out of the state of Georgia, even though she doesn't have that Georgia accent. Kind of weird. Kind of weird on that. Sharla, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I'm originally from Southern California, and I moved around a lot after high school too. So it depends on where I am. When I was living in New York, when I go back there and visit, I kind of settle back into that accent a little bit. So I don't know. I have a mutt accent.
Well, there you go. Sound Canadian. That's what I'll say. Important question for our listeners here. Yes. Are you Team Stump or are you Team Rock?
Well, Dave, I am 100% Team Stump.
Yes. Yes. Devil's Tower. The 10-mile-high tree. Team Stump it is.
Yes.
Oh, another winner here. So for those of you who don't recall, remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Devil's Tower in South Dakota. Some of us think it's a tree stump. Others believe it's a rock formation. We have confirmation from Sharla. It's Team Stump.
Stump.
All the way. Exactly. That just makes our audience love you a little bit more. It's funny because as I was reading that, Renee typed out, Dave, you need to ask Sharla, is she Team Stump or Team Rock? This is an important question for our audience in the chat room. We got to run with it. We have to run with it.
It's important.
So that's where we are. It very much is. In the SOR Space Travelers Club, Gail is asking, and she's like, no, Team Rock. And Dale says, Team Mashed Potatoes. But nonetheless, Gail is asking, one of the few things that will not bode well for a man doing it is if he plays the I'm a man, get in line behind me, and my leadership card. Does this or has this ever happened to you?
Ugh, all the time. All the time. Gail asked that?
Yes.
All the time, Gail. Girlfriend, all the time. And depending on which mood I'm in for that day, I'll either push my way through to the front or I'll just take 5 or 6 steps further back.
What a pain in the butt. Pain in the butt.
It happens.
In regards to your own experiences, have you ever had, whether it's in your own home or elsewhere, had a spirit mimic one of your team members or maybe a member of your family?
No, I have not. I've heard of it happening, though. I have heard of it happening, but it's never personally happened to me, and I've never witnessed it.
Well, the stories you have heard regarding that, is that something you would want to happen? Would you be concerned about that type of incident?
Yeah, I would be very concerned about it. I know a story from a friend of mine who was in a building, and they had gone to kind of like the safe area, quote unquote, kind of like the operations center of the investigation, and, just doing their thing. They had just left somebody down one hall. They turned around another, and they saw the person at the end of the hallway, and they actually called out to her. And she just walked on by and didn't stop and acknowledge. And then she turned around and went back, and the girl was not down that hallway. She was back where she had left her originally.
Oh, weird.
Yep.
Very weird.
Mm-hmm.
Astro Sweat is asking, Charla, have you ever figured out if there is any connection between ghosts and extraterrestrials?
I actually asked that question on an investigation one night. We were all sitting around in a room at a table, and we had actually had dinner or something or a snack, and we were taking a break from the investigation, but we were kind of also investigating at the same time. And we had a couple of different apps going, and there, like a full out conversation ensued. It was really interesting. I think somebody actually live streamed it because it was so crazy. And I asked that question, and the response that I got was in these exact words: "It's all the same."
What do you mean it's all the same?
Well, I then asked that question, what is all the same? And the next word that came through the box was origin.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that there is some sort of invisible string that is sewn all together throughout all the branches, whether it's cryptids from fairies to Bigfoot to UFOs and aliens and ghosts all above. I mean, it is so mysterious what is causing all of this phenomena. I think it's pretty naive for a lot of investigators out there to not think that there is some sort of correlation between it all. I'm assuming that's your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the science of it, right? I mean, we're all our bodies are made up of materials and particles and elements that are all throughout space. And we here are carbon-based life forms, right? At the very essence of who we all are, broken down to the lowest level, we're carbon. So it's not surprising that answer would have been origin, because that's kind of where we all sprung from, I guess. Does that make sense? In highly scientific terminology, sprung from.
That's fantastic. Great English there.
Thank you.
Great English. All right. Let's move on here. Darren with the handlebars wants to know, what are your top 5 locations you'll go back to, and maybe the top 5 you never want to see again?
Top 5 I would definitely go back to. Gosh, this is a hard one because there's so many. I really liked St. Albans. I'd go back there. I'd go back to Randolph County Infirmary any day. I would go back to Moon River Brewery in Savannah. I would go back to, how many is that? 3, 4? 3?
3.
I would go back to the Queen Mary. I would go back to, there's one I'm forgetting that I know was awesome, and I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. places I would never go back to. Number 1, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. Number 2, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. Number 3, 4, and 5, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. That's the only place I would never go back to. Ever, 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 ever.
Why? What was wrong there?
And I hate to say this because I know they're redoing it and they're putting a lot of time and energy into it. But I mean, that place is evil. There's very dark. There are very dark forces there. Very dark forces. So much so that, again, this was the place I was talking about earlier. Like every single one of my negative experiences that just I don't like, they all occurred there. I mean, I've had things happen at other places that I didn't like, but at this particular place, no, it's just not good for me at all. I had it's just not good. And it followed me around. Like I didn't have a quote unquote attachment, but it has always been in the back of my mind ever since. And what was really strange is I was going on a business trip and I had to go up I-75 and then I had to go west of Chattanooga. I guess that's still I-75. And that's where Old South Pittsburgh Hospital is located. On the way back, I was on the phone with Beth and we were talking about our next show and she was going to stay on the phone with me because it was super late. And I was behind a van, a fairly decent distance behind, maybe 3 or 4 car lengths. And it was in the left lane. I was in the right lane. We're on the highway, right? And all of a sudden this big white chunk of something flew up off of this van. It was almost like a ceiling tile, you know, the drop ceiling tiles. And
right.
But it was heavy and it landed right in front of my car and I didn't have time to react. So I just ran right over it. And I felt it, you know, boom, boom, all the way back through the undercarriage of my car. And I was like, oh my God, that, you know, that was a loud noise. Something's got to be wrong. Beth heard it, you know, she was like, what was that? And I said, I'm going to have to pull over and check my car and make sure that I'm not, you know, leaking fluid. And I go to the first exit that came up. I said, Beth, you're not going to believe this. And she said, what? And I said, it's Old South Pittsburgh Hospital exit. And I pulled off that exit and I got out of the car and nothing was wrong with my car, but I was shaken to the core. That's how much this place follows you. It doesn't follow you attachment wise, but it stays in the back of your mind. And no matter how many times I have cleansed, saged, meditated, Reiki'd, anytime I talk about it, my whole body chemistry changes. There's some dark stuff there. And there were some rituals that were performed in the basement. It's the perfect soup for disaster. It was, there were desecrated native burial grounds that were built on top of. There is a large, I guess it's granite, rock wall directly behind it. On the other side of it, there's a river. And not too far from there is, what's it called? Bell's Witch Cave or something like that. Bell's Cave, Witch Cave, Bell, something.
The Bell Witch?
Yes. Bell Witch Cave is right down the street. It was a hospital. It was a bunch of different things. But, you know, and I've always been interested by this concept that, you know, a place like a hospital where you have a high concentration of souls entering the world, at the same time souls are leaving the world. There was, you know, a maternity ward there. There was not retirement, like convalescent home there, nursing home. I just think any place where you get a high concentration of souls entering and leaving the world at the same time, there's heightened energy, right? But then you have this on top of this desecrated native burial ground. There was racial incidents that happened years past. It's just the perfect soup for disaster. Then you have somebody in the basement who performed all these rituals, and opened it up to dark forces. And there's dark forces are there, and they're very real. I've never seen as many shadow figures as I have there. It's like they just dart around everywhere, and they're fast. And you don't see them coming, and there's crawlers, and it's like a paranormal zoo, but a very bad one.
Oh, wow. Eerie. We got about 7 minutes. I'm going to try and throw in a couple more questions here. Gary is asking, do you do the same kind of work depicted in the TV series Ghost Whisperer? Of course, in that series didn't coax the spirit into the light. It just seems like they did. What's your thoughts?
No, I don't do any coaxing or anything like that. I do ask the question, is there anything you need? Is there anything I can help you with? I don't feel like I have any sort of authority whatsoever to cross anybody over. I don't think that's my place. And it's never been presented to me as an option by a spirit or a request, or I've never felt that before. Now, my partner is psychic, and, she can give messages to people from their loved ones who have passed. I can't do that. So I'm probably about as psychic as a basketball.
Nice analogy. Joe is asking, do you believe in Bigfoot?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Do they have them down in Georgia?
I live in Georgia. Yes, we have the Georgia mountains. There's a Bigfoot museum in North Georgia. It's West Georgia. There's a West Georgia Bigfoot Society. There's we have squatchers. We have squatches.
We don't use the word squatch around here. It's a banned word.
Okay. We have
Sasquatch. Bigfoot.
Yes. We have Bigfooters. Bigfoots. Big feet. Bigfoot. Plural.
Yes. That's awesome.
We do, yeah.
Plural feet.
Yes.
Big plural feet. There you go. There you go. That works for us. We only got about 5 minutes left with you tonight. And I think it's been a fantastic show so far.
I've enjoyed every second.
I'm glad you have. Let's get to Renee's question. Have you ever had a UFO encounter?
I think so. I think I have. There was a time when I lived in Tennessee in the mountains, and it was about 3,000 elevation. It was far out of town, and there was no light pollution there. It was right off the Appalachian Trail, and the stars were just brilliant. And right there from the deck, we all used to stargaze quite often. And, I know what satellites look like. I am such a NASA nerd. I have the app on my phone that tells me every time that ISS is passing over. And my dad and I text about it and run outside and watch it. So I know what those look like. I've been watching them for a very long time. But then there are other things that I've seen that I can't explain. There are particularly things that emanate from the Pleiades often that I can't explain. And Orion's Belt, there's a lot of activity there.
Oh, yes. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? Wow. Yes, we get a lot of Orion's Belt stuff around here. But that's okay. Very much okay. With 3 minutes to go here, I want to ask you one final question.
Yes.
What would make you give up ghost hunting?
it being illegal. I don't think anything, even that might not, I don't think anything could. I mean, it would have to be something really bad. Like, I don't even know if I'd give it up then.
Just that much in love.
Yeah. I love it.
Well, you keep up the good work. Why don't you do me a favor?
Yes.
And explain your podcast, your partner, when they can hear it.
So we're taking a break right now. Beth is traveling the country, doing investigations.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. With Ghost Hunt USA. So she's out and about quite frequently right now. So we'll probably come back at the end of the summer. And you can find us at blogtalkradio.com/girls versus ghosts. I am filming a series called the Ghosts of War series. It's about me tracking, literally following the footsteps of my ancestors who fought in the Civil War on both sides. We've got Union, we've got Confederate, we've got side switchers, we have deserters, we have people that were killed in action in my family. So I'm going to be following them and where they fought, touring the battlefields, doing interviews with folks about the history there, and then we'll choose a location that's close to there, and we'll do an investigation, not necessarily to contact my relatives, but to help promote haunted tourism and paratourism, because it's important, I believe, to preserve the history of a lot of these old buildings, and it provides an additional stream of revenue for those building owners to keep up with the maintenance. So I'm really excited about doing that series. So you can find out more about that at ghostsofwarseries.com. And we're actually going to have a Kickstarter coming up soon in a few weeks. So I'm really excited to get started with that. And I'm working with Lyle Lotz and Brandon Johnson on that. They're going to help me film that. And Tana Lotz will be there. And Shelley Bradbury will also be there. They're from the Twisted Realm.
Right on. Right on. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with us. I know we're 3 hours behind you here, so you're living out in the future there.
Yeah.
And no, I thought this was a lot of fun tonight, and we definitely going to do this. I'm blaming Lucky Kimba on Twitter for this interview.
Thanks, Kimba.
Keeps tagging us, and she'd be like, "Psst, you gotta get Charla Hardin on there."
She's awesome. She really is.
Isn't she? I owe her a big thanks, because we have a lot of really cool listeners and probably do not recognize it enough. But Kimba, amongst with a lot of other people, go out of their way almost daily to be tweeting out our show. And we've never asked to do that, but thank you to all the fans and Kimba for doing that. Really do. Charla, thank you so much for being on Spaced Out Radio tonight. What a pleasure. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned as we take this thing home.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology: Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on the Mighty SOR. Big thank you to Sharla Hardin for coming on to talk Girls versus Ghosts. If you missed part of this show or any of our others and you want to check out the archives, you can do that for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. And now we get to the weird, the wacky, the WTF. Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, getting to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and the downright absurd at times. And with that, we are going to start the news, which can be all found on our Facebook page right now, SOR Newswire, so make sure you go like that. Last August, a group of mammoth tusk hunters unearthed the nearly intact remains of a 42,000-year-old foal during an expedition in Siberia. It was preserved in the permafrost and permanently frozen ground. The young horse showed no signs of external damage, instead retaining its skin, tail, and hooves, as well as the hair on its legs and head and other body parts. Well, of course, the scientists looked into it. And believe it or not, they were able to extract viable cells from the blood samples and grow them in a lab to potentially clone the animal. Now, of course, this takes a lot of work. Over the past month, the team has made more than 20 attempts to grow the cells out of the foal's tissue, but all have failed to this date. But this is one of the most well-preserved Ice Age animals ever found, according to Russian scientist Lena Grigorieva. Notice how I got that Russian name right? Grigorieva. Just boom, like that. Now we could say what color what the wool was of the extinct horse of the Pleistocene era. It's kind of interesting that they were able to extract blood samples from this. 42,000 years ago. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The theory is the foal likely drowned in a natural trap of sorts, namely mud that later froze into permafrost. A lot of mud and silt which the foal gulped during its last seconds of its life were found inside the gastrointestinal tract. This is only the second time researchers have extracted liquid blood from the remains of prehistoric creatures. In 2013, Russian scientists were able to do the same feat on the body of a 15,000-year-old female woolly mammoth, discovered by the exact same team. Interesting. Let's see where that one goes. That's actually kind of cool. Sad news from Banff, Alberta. I don't know if you heard this story today. But 3 outdoor enthusiasts are presumed dead after a major avalanche. I don't know, man. These avalanches scare me. That's why, I got a lot of friends who go snowmobiling up here. And the mountain tops are very vast in this area, from here right to Alberta. And there's a lot of snowy peaks. And I got people that I know that hop on their snowmobiles and they are off and running. If they see powder, they are gone. Well, apparently an avalanche swept down the east side of the 10,810-foot Howes Peak in the Icefields Parkway in Banff, Alberta. And apparently they can now not find 3 of the world's best alpine hikers that had been climbing it. David Lama, Hans-Jörg Auer, and Jess Roskelly are missing and now presumed dead, according to Parks Canada. Parks Canada visitor safety specialists immediately responded by air and observed signs of multiple avalanches and debris containing climbing equipment. Based on the assessment of the scene, according to Parks Canada's Amy Krause, all 3 members of the party are presumed dead. Further investigation is underway, but recovery efforts are not currently possible due to additional avalanches and dangerous conditions in the area. Terrible. Now, these were very, very experienced climbers. The climbers were believed to have been attempting a notorious route called M16, first established in 1999. It's a dangerous trek. David Lama, 28, of Austria, is a National Geographic Adventurer of the Year who recently became the first person to solo the Lunang Ri Peak in Nepal. Wow. Too bad. A lot of people, when they go out in the wilderness here, they wear these, they're almost like parachutes. They're like little backpacks with parachutes that if you get caught in an avalanche, it's supposed to keep you on top. I'm going to assume that these guys didn't have that. Maybe due to weight or something like that. But very much affecting the hiking community. Speaking of hiking, I have some news here. Do you remember Nelson Dellis? We had him back on July 5th talking about Mount Everest. He is going to be making a run at Mount Everest in 2020, starting in April. You only have a couple weeks window to climb to the peak. He's attempted 3 times, almost died twice, but he's going for a 4th time. Talk to him today, and we're going to work something out with him. We may actually, I'm curious to get your responses on this. I'm probably going to write a blog on it this weekend. But what we're going to attempt to do here is we're going to attempt for all of us to be sponsors of his peak. So this is the thinking that we're talking about, Nelson and I were talking about today, is we're going to get a Spaced Out Radio flag, and we're going to see if we can get 50 people to pay $125 American apiece to have their name put on that flag. And then if he summits, well, when he's there, he's going to get pictures. But when he summits, let's not say if, but when he summits, each and every one of you will get your own autographed picture with your name from Nelson from the summit of Mount Everest. How cool is that? We're going to be looking for 50 people to do that. We're going to start that campaign once our new website is up. This may be your only chance to get your name up on Everest. How cool would that be? We'll talk more about it in the future. Got a couple of Florida stories here. In Naples, A man was observed on camera with a dark beard, wearing shorts and a blue jacket, walking into the PGA Superstore. Well, he decided that he would place 12 boxes of golf balls into his pants and jacket. Surveillance showed the man taking 4 boxes of golf balls and proceeded to put the boxes into his pants and jacket again. This happened between March 31st and April 5th. Employees of the PGA store followed the man and observed him getting into a maroon vehicle. The detective on the case was able to identify the owner as James Milford. After a brief investigation, it was determined that the man in the video matched his son. Employees also identified Milford in a photo lineup. His attorney says, look, he's not even a scratch golfer. Give the guy a break. But he has prior theft convictions. And yes, they are going after him. What a bogey. What an absolute bogey to the game. You can't play golf in jail, James. You just can't. How are you going to work your handicap on that? There's no putting greens. Nothing. You can't take your driver with you. Have fun with that. Hey, how about this? Some mysterious fossils that have been found and unstudied for decades, tucked away safely at the Nairobi National Museum in Kenya, are now drawing a lot of interest because the remains are allegedly to belong to a giant meat-eating mammal larger than a polar bear. Reported this week, the powerful predator prowled the earth about 22 million years ago, although Simba Kubwa, translation, big lion, God, like the lions aren't big enough as they are. Well, this behemoth was not a big cat. Instead, it's the oldest known member of an extinct mammal called hyenodonts. So named due to their dental resemblance to hyenas, even though their groups of them are unrelated. The discovery helps connect some evolutionary dots for these massive man-eaters, which were near the top of the food chain in the African ecosystem, where early apes and monkeys were also evolving. The fossil may also help scientists better understand why these apex predators ultimately did not survive. Now, Israel's done something weird. When you have the secrets to David Copperfield's magic or other types of information that can be found all over Wikipedia, what do you do with it? How about launch it onto the moon? Remember last week we told you about Space Ill's Bereshit spacecraft? Well, it was carrying a library containing all of Wikipedia, as well as 30,000 books and guides to 5,000 earthly languages, alongside a Bible, an Israeli time capsule, and some of the quirkier items on board were David Copperfield's magic secrets, a recipe for queso, a cheese-based Tex-Mex appetizer provided by a cafe in Texas, and the library. What does David Copperfield's magic have to be on the moon for? And why would they put anything on there from Wikipedia? We all know that Wikipedia is not a good source for information. Apparently, the library contains 25 nickel film discs, which resemble tiny DVDs around half the thickness of human hair, because we all know aliens are carrying the technology to use that stuff. Each disc is made up of multiple layers of information, the first 4 of which are comprised of up to 60,000 photographs of pages of books, photos, illustrations, and documents. Kind of interesting. When magician Copperfield decided he wanted to include his magic secrets in the library, he said in a written statement, "When I was introduced to the Arch Mission Foundation, I was immediately enamored with the mission to preserve our civilization and the possibilities of what we might do together. One of my heroes was George Méliès, one of the fathers of modern cinema and also a great magician. Wanted to be part of it." Good for you, Davey. Good for you. Your hair still looks good after all these years. Finally, I don't even know where to start with this Port Charlotte, Florida guy. 23-year-old Matthew Nero has got some drug charges happening. Because when he was arrested on Wednesday, earlier today, I should say, well, deputies found drugs in his vehicle. And when doing the body tap down, the police, you got any drugs here? Got any weapons? Anything in your pockets? Old Matthew decided to come clean. He knew he was caught. So he says to the deputy, yep, I have some stuff in my ass crack. I will get it. I don't want you reaching in there, he told the cops. Really? Seriously? Is that a good place to be hiding stuff? I guess so. Nero and Alexa Powers, just 18 years old, somehow I don't think that relationship's going to work, were stopped by a deputy for speeding. Shortly after, a canine was called, sniffed around the car, found the drugs inside. Deputies then found a box in the car's trunk with marijuana, meth, several green pills, and 3 hypodermic needles, along with other drug paraphernalia. Along with, man, this guy is like a Walmart. They also found cocaine and heroin inside of a jacket that he was wearing. He's 23 years old. Where the hell is he getting the money for this? Oh, by the way, that's when Nero decided to pull the drugs out of his butt. The pair were arrested. Nero was arrested for possession of heroin, possession of cocaine, possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia. His girlfriend, Alexa, hey, Alexa, what are you arrested for? She was arrested for possession of a controlled substance and drug paraphernalia as well. Let's get to the thought of the day. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we take a question, put it in front of our audience on Facebook and Twitter, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as followed. Let's pull it on up here. I had a little bit of an itchy eye, so had to take the glasses off. Couldn't see a thing. Is there a difference between how men and women gain results in collecting paranormal evidence? This was a popular one on both sites today. Start off with Carol. I think guys are wired to have more toys. Diane. I think so. I've never thought of it. William. Interesting question, his mustache says. I don't know. There are certainly not enough women involved in UFO investigations. John, it may depend on the entities at the haunting, too. Some may be more susceptible to making themselves known to women than guys, and vice versa. Edith, I don't think so. It's more of a human preference thing. Myself and my ex did things differently, but I did a great deal that was more like what men do. He just wanted to talk to spirits, provoke, and listen to his own voice. I sat, was patient, and would ask questions occasionally on where, or ask them what to do, or something like turn on the lights, flashlights, make a noise. Use my camera more, or would set a recorder and leave it be. Heather believes women use intuition more. Dr. Barry Taff, let's see what he says. He'll be a guest here June 6th. Interesting question for sure, but if one is an educated and experienced parapsychologist, one collects as much hard data as they can in an environment. That subjective information is in the various physical and non-physical parameters. Therefore, one must interview said witnesses, not listen to what they tell you. As these events are always coupled to us at some level, the experiencer's input is very relevant at every turn. I think we got time for one more. Alex Mistretta, former guest on this show. Because the experiencer or observer is also actively involved in the phenomena we call paranormal, neuropsychological differences, hormone differences between men and women may provide a different set of experiences based on your sex. Uncle Dale's mustache will get the final word tonight. That is actually an extremely good question. We all have biases, which are the default reactions to people, events, and ideas. The biasness come from the supercomputer hidden in our minds that does 99.9% of our thinking. These biases apply not only to people, but to everything that we encounter in life. The reason that diversity works for business is that it brings together people with different sets of biases. Those different people will look at the same phenomena and see different things. Anyway, there's a lot more to this story, but the widest diversity that you can get on a team, the more the team will persevere. And Uncle Dale has a great mustache as well. Big thank you to Sharla Hardin for coming on in tonight from ghostversusgirls.com or Girls vs. Ghosts. Tomorrow night on the show, we're going to wrap up the week with Brian D. Parsons, Signs of the Paranormal, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. We want to make sure we wish all of you a good Friday tomorrow as your Easter weekend gets underway. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. A special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, in our chat rooms on Rev Radio, the SOR Space Travelers Club on Facebook, everyone on Spreaker, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio, wherever you may be. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thanks for telling your friends, doing your part to make us bigger and better every single night, because together, my friends, we own the night. I will talk to you in 21 hours from now. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor.
Don't make a mistake. We're watching.
We need you to take us home. Have a great night, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.